Hello, Tim from Fairplay Now on the 20th of December 2022. So, Lorraine and I have been without water for 24 hours now, 24 hours plus, because the local water company here are blaming the rapid thaw. And to be fair, it did go from freezing cold and loads of snow around here to very mild, almost sort of double digit Celsius again, and no snow within not even 24 hours, probably 12 to 18 hours. So it was a very quick thaw, and apparently what it's done is burst a load of pipes around here. It means, I suppose, all of the leaks have revealed themselves all at once as it's such a fast thaw. So being without water means water for 24 hours. So being up at the local station here to collect some bottled water here, which I'll give to our elderly neighbour actually, because we've already got some great big bottles which I'll probably dump into the upstairs water tank, so at least we can have do things like flush the toilet and have a shower. So that'll keep us going for a day or two or a few days, and hopefully the water will come back on after that. But I was just thinking, you can't rely on anything in this decade, can you? We're about a quarter of the way through the 2020s, and so far everything that you used to be able to take for granted, you can't seem to take for granted anymore. Everything from those early days of 2020 where you couldn't even get bog roll, you couldn't get flour or eggs or bread, or sort of bottled water, all sorts of things. And then of course we've had everything from fuel shortages in this part of the world to power cuts, now this water situation. And you can't take it for granted that companies, energy companies, fuel companies won't just put up the prices of their stuff by ridiculous amounts, unreasonable amounts. You can't take that for granted, that they'll just play fair and only give you sort of minor incremental rises every year that you can handle. You can't rely on the government not to take the proverbial, can you? You can't rely on them to play fair. You can't rely on them to sort of remain democratic and not do totalitarian things. You can't rely on any of the authorities, can you? You can't rely on the police to be fair and act within the law. If they're going to arrest you, even if you're just doing peaceful protesting, as many people in the Truth and Freedom movement found out in 2020, 2021. And it just shows the level of trust, the amount you can trust all of this stuff has just gone from here all the way down to there, or even sort of fallen through the floor, hasn't it? So there's definitely trust and reliability issues, and going forward you wonder how much worse it's going to be. And I think the only real answer is just to make sure don't do it all at once, but just to make sure, if you haven't already, that you're making your own provisions, as it were. Get at least a week's supply of food and water into your house. As I say, do it incrementally over the next few weeks or few months. I was watching something where this guy was saying he gets about 10 tinned cans a week in with his normal shopping. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but I think he must have been doing it for sort of 15 weeks. So he's now got 150 tins, which is, I don't know if there's only 2 or 3 of you, that's going to last you a decent amount of time. And then you want to do the same thing for some, bottled water, mineral water, whatever. Or better yet, get yourself a water purifier, military grade, water purifier, and then just build up your stocks from there. And then obviously have torches and batteries and lights handy, sort of around the place, candles, etc. And long term, I suppose you might be looking into other things just to rely, lessen your reliance on the state. And then I'm going to segue nicely into electric vehicles, because so many people seem to think it's a great idea. Oh, we're going to save the planet if we just go out and get an electric car. Yeah, that will sort of solve everything. And well, it won't solve anything if you can't rely on the electric supply to actually charge the thing up. So and you certainly can't rely on the electric supply. And I was watching this thing, I'll come on to what I was watching in a minute, but one guy on there who sounds like he's either an electrician like me or an electrical engineer perhaps, and he was saying at the moment, as far as all of the UK power stations are concerned, we're at somewhere around 93% capacity, and that's with relatively few people using electric cars. And he was just saying that if everybody got electric cars, there just isn't the capacity. We haven't got the infrastructure for everybody to have electric cars, because they take about 7-8 kilowatts, the chargers do, and they're going for, I don't know how long it is, most of the night or a lot of the night when you've got the thing on charge. And 7 or 8 kilowatts, well, that's the same as an electric shower. You get your 7.5, 8.5, even 9.5 kilowatt electric showers. But those are only on for as long as you have a shower, 5 minutes. Well, these chargers are on for ages. And apart from an electric shower, all you've really got running in your house most of the time is a few light bulbs, some AV equipment, your Wi-Fi, your sort of TV, radio, maybe stuff like that. All of that doesn't take up very much at all, maybe sort of kilowatt between it all, and your refrigeration, which is obviously on all the time, but that's only a few hundred watts, maybe a kilowatt if you've got a few of them. So, but even with that, then everything else, washing machines, kettles, toasters, electric showers are only on for relatively short periods of time. So then, when you sort of think all of that, as this guy was saying, takes up 93% capacity on our power stations. So that's supposed to handle, the extra 7% is supposed to handle everybody having basically an 8 kilowatt appliance, as in your electric car charger, running for hours on end, most days or every day, whatever it is. So it's just craziness to anyone who thinks that electric vehicles are the answer. Haven't got a clue about what the electrical infrastructure of this country is like. And that's before you get on to all of the other nonsense about them. The fact that, they're running on electric when you're driving along the road, but most of the electricity that charges it up is comes from the power stations, which run on coal, natural gas, etc., fossil fuels. So you're only sort of moving the problem down the road. And then the manufacture of the things, all of your sort of rare metals, your lithium, etc., it takes up a ridiculous amount of the Earth's resources. And again, I think it might have been the same bloke who was going on about the 93% capacity. He was also saying that it takes more fossil fuel to make an electric car than what a normal car would use in its lifetime. Yeah, when you take everything into account. So they really aren't green at all, and it is just an absolute nonsense we're being sold here. So where did I get this information from? Well, I kind of knew a lot of it anyway, obviously, but there's a new channel that I've come across, started watching recently. Many people might be quite surprised that I've only recently started watching this, because I think it's common knowledge for many people, but it's a channel called Rise Above. So I think I first came across this channel about 6 months ago via the sheep farm sort of duo, and I kind of maybe watched a few minutes of it, but the thing that put me off originally was their podcasts go on for absolute hours, absolute marathons. They are 6-8 hours. I think they do a live show which they then record and put on as a recording afterwards, but they go on most of a Friday evening. So 6-8 hour marathons. I think they've calmed it down a little bit. They've brought it down to about 3.5-4 hours for most of them now, but it's obviously still a big chunk of time to find to watch them. But it is very entertaining, and I've got a clip. I'll put it in the description box and the comment section below because it's on this platform. It's kind of basically, I suppose, a clip out of one of them. I think it might be a roundup of all the different nonsensical things that have happened during this year. Only goes on for less than an hour, about 51 minutes, I think. So it's a good introduction to them. And then if you want to subscribe and watch more of this stuff, maybe make it a regular Friday night thing if you like them, you can do that. But this episode contains the guy who was talking about the power station, and we haven't got the capacity for electric vehicles thing. So what I think I'll do is let you go and watch that now, and I'll be back tomorrow. Just a quick update, guys. I've got a joyous sight for you. So we've got our mains water back. Not that you can take that for granted, like you can't take most things for granted. But who knew I'd be so happy just to see my cold kitchen tap running like that. I'll leave it there. Tim from Fair Play now. Thanks for watching.